Warning, the following video contains adult language and strong opinions about pottery. It may not be suitable for small children. This isn't your mama's pottery class.
Hello and welcome to How to Unfuck Your Pot. I am your teacher, Dominic from SperanoArts.com. Today we're going to be going over how to wedge properly. Many people find wedging is a real annoyance and a pain in the ass, a Sisyphean effort. And I'm going to try and break it down for you so it's simple, easy, direct, and not an annoyance. And that's what's coming up today on How to Unfuck Your Pot. So, what I recommend to begin with when you're going to start pottery and learning how to throw and how to wedge is something that's about the size of your own hand. So I have a bag of clay right here, and I'm going to cut myself off a piece that I'm going to smush into about the size of my own hand. Like so. Okay, so roughly size of my fist. That's what I want to start working with.
All right, so here we are with the piece of clay ready to go. Now the way that I'm going to hold this is I'm going to have my hands right in front over here, and I'm going to push down a little bit in with the palms over here, see? And it's a short push. It's just a quick flick. And then I pull it up and I push again. And I pull up and I push again. Okay? This is going to be the repetitive motion that I'm going to do to create this. Now, what is really important is that I'm pushing in with my hands on the sides over here. Okay? I don't want to do this. This is a common thing that I see people do when they start trying to do this and they're doing this thing. You see what this is turning into? A piece of shit is what it's turning into. But what it's turning into is really kind of like a croissant roll or something that you'd see in a commercial. We don't want that. We want to make sure that this does not splay out. We do not want to smear it out like dough. Right? We're not making pasta. This isn't, what do you call it? Iron Chef America. We're not trying to be the best bakers. What we're trying to do is wedge some clay. The purpose of wedging is to make sure that you do not put any air bubbles into the clay. As a matter of fact, you're trying to get air bubbles out of the clay, so that way it doesn't go kablooey in the kiln. So what you want to do is not this. See how this, as I fold this over, I'm putting in air bubbles. What I want to do is do short bursts and get the air bubbles out of the clay. That is the most important thing.
Get it out. Okay. Now, what's typically happening is with my right hand, I'm driving a lot of the action. I'm just kind of pushing with the left hand, and I pull up, and I pull up. And that's the key part. All right. I'm going to do this about 5 or 6 times, and then I'm going to switch it on its side like so. Okay. And then I'm going to do it again. Now, I often say this is kind of like doing sets, reps. Okay, if you understand gym terminology. What I prescribe is doing 5 to 6 reps, 4 sets. Okay, so that's another set. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I flip it over again, and I can do it again. See, this is the key to it. Okay, now some instructors out there have this really weird thing where they'll have you cut in half and make sure and see if there's any air bubbles to it. And there is an air bubble right there. But now here's the problem. I got to put it back together and I got to wedge it again. Right? Because now I have like these 2 separate halves. I wanted this much clay, so when I put it together, I now have air bubbles. So I got to do this all over again. So I really don't recommend that. If there are air bubbles in the clay, it's not the end of the world. Okay? There's a lot of things that will happen between now and when it goes into the kiln, so really don't worry if you have air bubbles. Just worry that you've worked the clay over and that you can get into the right shape.
See? Once you're done, you want to smack it back into a ball shape. And now I have a piece of clay that is ready for me to throw and to center.
That is what's called the ram's horn, or it's more like a German-European form of wedging. It's what I do. It's what works best for me. There is a style, a Japanese, Asian style, in which case you're coming around like this. Some people like it because it makes it already a circular motion. If it works for you, or if you know how to do it that way and you like it, stick with it. I tend to do the ram's horn. What I like about the ram's horn, works for large pieces of clay too. All right. All you need to do to adapt this to a large piece of clay is take a further step back and work with your body instead. Okay. As you can see, I'm pulling away and I'm coming back in. I'll do a couple for you. See, I come in here. What I don't do is stand straight with my feet together and try and do it with my upper body. Okay, this portion over here. That's a great way to really wear out your shoulders. Maybe get a nice what's the word I'm looking for? A nice knot in your back that is an annoyance and a pain. You want to, if I'm right-handed, so I put my right foot back, I'm going to shift my weight to my right, I'm going to shift it back into my left, I'm going to pull it back, and that's how I start getting a good amount of pressure. Right? See, I'm working smart, I'm not working hard. I have my elbows tucked in. This is how you do a larger amount of clay with the ram's horn method. Okay? And the same thing applies, flip it on its side. To do a small amount of clay, I find is more annoying.
Let's say I'm doing just about half a pound. I'll tend to just do it one-handed because like this hand here is kind of in the way. So I'll tend to just wedge one-handedly. Like that. And I'll keep it all to small motor function here. Just with the hand, just with the arm. Okay? So that's how you do a small, regular size, getting into larger amounts. Okay? You work basically the appropriate amount of muscles. Small amount, I'm just using one hand and basically the strength in my arm and in my shoulder and my hands. Bigger, two hands, slight amount of hip motion, but very little. And mostly I'm just using my chest and I'm using my shoulders and I'm using my arms, and that's what I'm doing. When it comes to something bigger, like this much and more, when it kind of feels heavy, that's when I start using my entire body weight. Okay, this is where like having a background in martial arts and dance instruction that I do comes in handy. I understand how to move my weight, right? Shift it back, shift it forward, shift it back, shift it forward. Okay, and I just coordinate it with what I'm doing with my hands. So that's how you do wedging.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope the lesson helped you out, answered any questions you might have. If you have any more questions or want to become or get some more personal coaching from me, you can always go to my website, speranoarts.com. I have some ways that we can do some personal coaching, or you can become a patron of mine on Patreon. It's patreon.com/SperanoArts. Either way, I'm hoping I've helped you out and you've learned something. And if I can help you any further, just drop me a line, get in touch, and let's see what we can do.